Hey guys, how's it going? Zach here at Toasty DIY. Today we're going to be taking a look at the EPOMAKER RT100 mechanical keyboard. To start the video off, we're going to do a quick unboxing and then we'll get into sound tests and looking at the software attached to it. So let's just jump right into it. Alright, so before we just go ahead and just open this thing right up, we're just going to take a look at the packaging. Right here you get a quick little preview of what the keyboard looks like. It shows that it is Mac and Windows compatible. It is called a tri-mode mechanical keyboard. I think that's referring to the connectivity. It's wireless, Bluetooth, and also wired. But this thing will work with Mac, Windows, and I would assume Linux and other operating systems as well. You flip right over to the back and it gives you the basic rundown of all the features attached to this keyboard. So, you're gonna see the customizable knob. That's gonna be the media controller, the wireless CUD driver. I'm assuming that meant to be cloud driver, which is how you would connect via Bluetooth or with the wireless USB. And it comes with double sound absorption. I'm assuming that's going to be foam in the bottom of the keyboard, and maybe, in between the PCB and the plate, there might be more foam for the double aspect of it, or it could just be double thick. I don't really know. We'll see that when we open it up. Built-in lithium battery. Refined stabilizers, we'll put that to the test. We'll see if those stabilizers are actually good. Full keys hot swappable. That is a very nice feature to have a hot swappable keyboard. Basically, that means you can pop the switch out and replace it with a comparable switch. And there's also an innovative smart screen. A lot of people are really excited for this, so we'll really test that one out too. So upon opening it, you get accessories are underneath. This comes in a plastic sleeve usually, but this was sent to us and everyone at the company was excited to see it. So it kind of got opened before this video and everybody kind of took a peek at it. So I promise you the packaging will be a little bit nicer for your version. But first things first, you get the keyboard, very nice compact full-size layout, nice gray beige color scheme. I really like the vintage and rustic look to this, and it's just honestly a really cool looking keyboard. The keycaps are nice. I like the sculpt and profile on the keycaps too. I think this is MDA. I will fact check that, but basically MDA is going to be a little bit taller and a little bit more sculpted. It gives you a clackier typing experience and sound, but also I just really like the look of it. The standard that you'll see with most keyboards would be Cherry Profile and sometimes Cherry OEM. Looking at the top right of the keyboard, you can see the off, on, and then Mac Windows switch. I'm assuming Mac Windows just switches which operating system you're using with and changes the configurations for the Windows key to Mac OS key and other keybinds like that. I'm pretty sure the off on would be for wireless and Bluetooth. So, off for wired, turn it on, you have Bluetooth and wireless connection. Turning that to on, you'll see that turns on the RGB on the keyboard. Very nice, solid flow RGB. It's very, very customizable. There's a lot of options you can do, a lot of different settings, and we'll see that in the software when we look at that in a little bit. The brightness isn't anything too crazy, but in the dark, it'll give you a nice little glow. One of my biggest gripes with this keyboard so far is I'm not a fan of this knob right here. If you look, it is a black knob when everything else on the keyboard is kind of that beige, brown, and gray color scheme. It really just stands out and doesn't look the best. It would have been great if it was, tan or gray or even white. I feel like that would have meshed in a lot better. As far as the quality on the knob goes, it has a nice click when you rotate it. It does not feel cheap, just feels like a standard media knob. Honestly, it's a little bit higher end feeling than most of those cheaper keyboards you'll see with media knobs, but it's nothing crazy. It's not metal, it is a plastic knob. All right, now looking at the back of the keyboard, you'll see that it has feet that are adjustable. It has two sections, so you can get a little bit of height adjustment, or you can pick up the second one and get the full size. Both of them are like this. Other than that, it's just the model number, your product number for warranty information, other things like that. Very standard. The case is all plastic. It is not metal or aluminum. It is a very solid feeling keyboard, but it is just a plastic case. Looking at the top left now, you'll see this 2.4 gigahertz RF transceiver. That is a little thing that pops off, and that will be where your wireless connector will be. It just slides right out, and actually this is also where the screen plugs in. All right, now jumping into the accessories that are underneath, we'll pop this open right here and we'll get to the cable. Now this cable I think is extremely nice. It's extremely thick. It's like a plastic sheathing around it. And if you look at the actual USB connectors, they are housed in metal, and this thing just feels very, very heavy duty, and it has that nice vintage look to it that really matches the keyboard as well. It's the same color as the case, and the yellow really kind of pops. This is like a fake leather, it looks like, with basically just to keep the cable in check, but as far as the cable goes, this is really nice and really high quality. Next, we pop this open and we'll see the screen that everyone is excited for. So next we have the screen that everybody's excited for. If you look, it just has that small connector that will plug in where that wireless transceiver was. The screen itself is pretty small. If you look, it's about 1 inch by 3/4 of an inch, and you know, it's nothing crazy, and I'm curious to see how the angle of this, if you look, it's kind of slanted. So when it's plugged in, it's gonna have a pretty harsh viewing angle, so I'm curious to see how well it will hold up and display images when you're typing. You might not even see it depending on what angle you're typing at. Also included in the box is this keycap puller and switch puller. Like I mentioned, this keyboard is hot swappable, so this would be great for pulling those switches out when you do, or if you ever want to update your switches or change them out for something different. The last items in the box are going to be the user manual for the smart screen, and then just the manual for the keyboard itself. Like most other people, I hate reading, so we will ignore that and just jump right into the software and looking at the keyboard. All right, guys, so now, like I said, we're going to be looking at the EPOMAKER RT100 driver and the software for this keyboard. We're just going to go right here to the EPOMAKER website, pull that up. I am on Windows, so I'm going to download version 2.0.5 for Windows. Once it's done downloading, you're just going to want to run the application like you usually would. All right, guys, now we have this software downloaded and pulled up, and as you can look, it's going to connect right to the keyboard right here. You can see every single key. You can change the functions, the functionality of it. You can change all your macros. You can set combinations. One thing I do want to say about this software, I am not the biggest fan of it. It's definitely a software that you can tell was developed and programmed in a different language that they had to then translate. So there is quite a little bit of redundancies and some translation errors in here. And it's not the easiest to use. If you want to change what is on the screen of the keyboard, you would think that you would come to the screen setting and then hit upload GIF or upload animation, but that is not what you're going to want to do. You're going to come down to this area down here and hit select picture. Once you do this, it will open your driver section. You want to move to downloads, pick whatever GIF, picture, whatever you want to be in there. You hit open, and then once that is selected, you'll see it load into here. Then you're going to hit upload animation. It's going to take a second for GIFs. For pictures, it's a lot quicker, but then you're just going to wait this out. One cool thing about the screen as well is that you can actually just draw on this and add whatever you want, and then it will display on the screen once you hit save or upload. You can also just erase things entirely. So it's very, very neat. You can come here and you can program macros to start with certain keys, press to play, however you want to do it. This is where you control the RGB. I have it set to always on, which is just RGB flush, but you can also do things like waves ripple, which is going to be where if you type a key, it sends RGB throughout the keyboard, which is very unique. It's cool, but it's not something I would want to leave on all the time. And if you look, there's lots of different RGB settings in here, and I'm not sure what all of them do, but there are some cool ones. Coming back to the main section of the software, this is where you can change the function of highlighted keys, and you can change what certain things do. You can change what the media key does, what rotating it to the right or to the left, pressing down on it, what that does. You make it play, skip, fast forward. You can just add a lot of functionality to the keyboard through this. And it is a little bit clunky at times, and you know, like I said, it's not the most perfect software and it's not translated the best, but with a little bit of trial and error, you can pretty much achieve anything you might want to be doing with this keyboard. Now that we've kind of looked over all the features of the keyboard, I'm going to go ahead and do a typing test so you guys can hear what it sounds like and see if you like the sound of the MDA profile keycaps and also just the switches in general. And then we'll kind of go into our closing thoughts and wrap up this review. Alright guys, so just to kind of summarize, the EPOMAKER RT100 is a great keyboard for the price. You can get this thing anywhere between $100 to $120 MSRP based on the settings you pick. That's going to change the layout from ANSI to ISO. So just once again, you know, the stabilizers on this thing, they aren't the best, but they're good for the price point. Usually to get really nice tuned stabilizers, you're going to have to spend a pretty penny, but at $100, you get a great keyboard with great features like that screen. The software is a little bit annoying to use, but it could be a lot worse. As for the double sound absorption, I couldn't really tell off the typing test that it was in there, but it does have a nice sound to the keyboard. If you'd like to get some more information on this keyboard or buy one yourself, check out the link in the description down below. And thanks again for watching today's video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.